So Twitch, I do love the origin story of Twitch, and it's often kind of heralded as a perfect example of an early startup pivoting and pivoting and pivoting. Because the birth of Twitch, Justin TV.
Yeah.
James, you're usually the one who does the explaining because I just shoot from the hip.
You should have.
But I can give it a crack.
Please, go ahead.
So Justin TV, it is a fun story. They're a Y Combinator startup, but it started literally as, like, this feels so early internet, as a bloke called Justin with a camera and a crazy live streaming rig strapped to his back. This is like, what, late 2000s?
Yeah, it's like 2007, 2008, yeah.
Yeah, so like you can imagine a live streaming setup back then. It probably required an antenna.
Yep.
I would guess. That's not a fact.
No.
But that's just something I would guess.
He was literally hooked up to a telegraph pole.
But yeah, he was live streaming his life, and it did have like brief notoriety. I do remember this being discussed during my uni degree classic, like another one of those things. And it was kind of like, this could be the future of entertainment. Like this guy, Justin, at justin.tv.
Live streaming his life.
Yeah, and people were, because it got like a bit of hype, trying to track him down and like jumping into the live stream and like trying for a bit of fame, being like, yo, Justin, whoa, yo. And then people were like trying to spruik their own startups to it and this kind of thing. But what it turned out to be mostly, viewership started to kind of drop off because he was just like a dude in San Francisco who worked for a startup that mostly spent time at home playing computer games.
Yeah, totally. So his name is Justin Kahn, and he was working on this with his friend Emmett Shear. And yeah, Justin TV, and it had that kind of like Truman Show energy. Oh my God, imagine if thanks to technology we could watch a guy live his life. You know, it was a grim harbinger of the future. What we thought was kind of a funny little experiment was merely a dark prophecy of the way human culture would go.
Yeah, but obviously they couldn't monetize that particularly. They opened it up. What about if we just create the platform so that anyone can stream their lives?
Yeah.
Cool. Most people didn't use it for that. They used it for illegally streaming soccer and cricket games. I was living in Toronto at the time, and I used to use it regularly for streaming illegal cricket games. They weren't illegal cricket games. The cricket games themselves were perfectly legal in most countries.
What would an illegal cricket game look like?
They did the IPL knockoff thing.
Yeah, the knockoff IPL where it was like just random Indian guys pretending they were playing the IPL.
Yeah, so
that rocks though. We encourage that sort of, so Chinese gamblers could... as an aside, this is just like a funny little thing. I heard from someone that works at the basketball stadium at Bankstown, there are always these guys that come in and sit down and are on their phone all day because they're literally running illegal streams for people to bet on just like local games at Bankstown
like
basketball
third
stadium.
Division.
Like, I just want to meet the guy that's living in, in Hangzhou who was just like, God, I've run out of things to bet on. I need to bet on the Bankstown Bruins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the only way they could monetize it was just by plowing more and more and more invasive ads. So like it was just a crazy site.
Yeah,
like,
totally. Yeah.
It was, one of the literally having to get rid of pop-ups every 10 seconds for ads, like interstitials, and they knew that they were basically just a platform to facilitate illegal streams of copyrighted material.
Totally. But then they saw an out, which was the fact you said before that Justin TV, or at least the Justin Kahn part of it, fizzled out because it just turned out he was sort of a loser who played video games all day.
Yeah.
That was the ticket.
Yeah.
They realized that people that were streaming themselves playing computer games was actually some of the most highly consumed content on the site that wasn't illegal streams.
It was like, it was like 20% of the website was these computer games, which weren't copyrighted, obviously, importantly.
Yes.
And so they made the pivot into just being for computer game streaming, and it was highly, highly successful.
Well, yeah, and that took off. And that was when they transitioned from being Justin.tv into Twitch.tv. And they became a video game streaming site.
And like some of the most famous people you know and love actually started back on Justin.tv. Like I believe Ninja started there back when it was Justin.tv.
Yeah, I know how many Ninja heads are in the Down Round audience.
Maybe some XQC heads. I believe he might have been back then. I don't know.
Yeah. And to give some context for the video game streaming stuff, there was some of that world sort of percolating already. Like we did an episode on esports. Esports emerged out of South Korea and Asia. But there was an audience for that developing. This crazy idea of what if instead of playing StarCraft and getting good at playing StarCraft, you could instead be aspirational and watch some of the best players of StarCraft and admire their strategy and watch it like sport.
Yeah,
and get into it.
Hear the slurs that they use for their opponents.
Exactly. Some of the most creative slurs you've ever heard of, far beyond what you would be able to come up with in a game. Hey, Raf.
Hey, James.
Did you know that you can get an extra episode of Down Round every single week on top of the one that you're already getting?
Yeah, I knew that.
Well, obviously you know, but the person is, I'm using you as a vessel to explain.
Sorry, as I'm the listener. No, go on, tell me more, James. How much does it cost?
A mere $7 a month, Raf.
Okay, where do I go to find out more about this?
You go to downround.net.
Okay, I want it.
Well, I'm sure you do.
I feel like I'm missing out by not having it.
Exactly. No ads. Second episode per week, and a few other little goodies that are coming down the pipeline as well. Head to downround.net.
Downround.net.
And sign up to Downround Premium.